record. Everybody's good there, and bam. Or maybe I should zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, perfect. Okay, all right. Today is order of operations where we use PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS. So remember that PEMDAS was parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. But also remember that we've been lied to our whole life, guys. So for PEMDAS, P and E always stay the same. Those will never change. We work problems from left to right. So if division comes before multiplication, then you can interchange these two. So this means that PEMDAS can also be known as PEDMAS. Or the same thing works for addition and subtraction. So it was you do addition first and then you do subtraction, but if subtraction comes first, then those two are also interchangeable. So that means that you can also have PEMSA. And then I think there's just one more where it's PEMSA. There you go. So those are all our variations of PEMDAS. And remember, you work left to right. So if division comes first, you'll do division before multiplication. And if subtraction comes first, you'll do subtraction before addition. So sorry, guys, if you were lied to.
Professor,
what's up?
What does the P and the E stand for?
Oh, good question. Sorry. It is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. All right. So we will be using all four of these when working the order of operation. Okay, starting with the first one.
And Professor, so I've seen where they've done order of operation problems where they have like, I guess, different style of brackets. So you have like parentheses, braces, and brackets.
Yes. These are all in the family of parentheses.
Okay.
Good. Good question.
Like, what if you had multiple versions of that? Does one go before the other?
Yeah, then you work the innermost parentheses, as you see on this example right here. We would work the innermost, then we would do the exponent, and then we work the outermost, and then we do the exponent, and then we'd work these parentheses. So it's a work in progress. All right, cool. So yeah, so all of these braces, brackets, parentheses, even the absolute value symbols and the square root, these can all be under the parentheses group for PEMDAS. Okay. All right. Yeah, can't believe I've been lied to my whole childhood. And of course, you know that these order of operations cause really big fights on social media. It's hilarious. I will not respond to any of those. All right. So starting with number one, we have 5 minus 3 plus 72 times 10 minus 2. So we see that reading from left to right, we have a parentheses that comes first. So we will handle the parentheses first. So do that. So everything stays the same. 5 minus 3 plus 72 times 10 minus 2, which is 8. Now remember, when you have a number attached to a parentheses, the operation is multiplication. So now going from left to right again, we have 5 minus 3 plus whatever 72 times 8 is. What's that?
576.
576. All right, perfect. And now, still working from left to right, we see that subtraction comes before addition, so we will subtract first. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. 2 plus 576 gives me our final answer of 578. All right. And sure, maybe a long time ago, we could have made this 2 already, but it's just good to follow the order, you know? Okay. Number 2. You have 2 plus 2 times 3 minus 6 minus parentheses 1 plus parentheses 1 minus 4 squared squared. Okay. So that means we're going to handle this innermost parentheses first. And we can also handle this parentheses as well. Why not? So we will get 2 plus 2 times 3 minus 6, which gives me negative 3, minus parentheses 1 plus 1 minus 4, which is negative 3 squared, close that parentheses, and squared. Okay. And now, following order of operations still, we have to work all of this parentheses and the inside. So on the inside, we see we have that exponent there. So that's what we need to handle next. Whoops, too much erasing. There we go. Gentle, there we go. Okay, so this will remain the same. 2 plus 2 times negative 3 minus 1 plus, what is negative 3 squared, anybody?
9.
9, positive 9. And all of that is still being squared. Okay. Move over. There we go. Show my path here. Boom, boom. And we're still working left to right. And we still have to work inside these innermost parentheses. So it's still 2 plus 2 times negative 3 minus 1 plus 9, which is 10, and you're squaring that. All right, almost there, guys. Now we have done all the parentheses. Next is exponent. Yes, there's parentheses on these guys, but they are now considered multiplication because of the numbers in front. Okay, so 2 plus 2 times negative 3 minus 10 squared, which is 100. And I'm just going to keep that 100 in parentheses only because of that negative on the outside. Negatives are, they will mess your whole day up if you forget a negative. So that negative remains outside. And now we've done parentheses, we've done exponents. Next is multiplication. We have this 2 times negative 3, and we have this negative 1 times 100. So we get 2, and then 2 times negative 3, negative 6, negative 1 times 100, negative 100. All right. And now working left from right, the only operation left is subtraction. So you have 2 minus 6 minus 100. So 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 100, negative 104. Bam. All right. Questions on those two so far? Everybody good?
Those extra parentheses are tricky.
Yeah, I just keep them on there because it's good habit. Students love, love, love to forget parentheses. So it's just a great habit just to keep those parentheses on. Do not drop your
Okay.
parentheses. Yeah.
Okay, and we always start from the inside out. Okay.
Yes, well, you read
Right.
left to right, but yeah, you will start, because remember, it's parentheses always first. So if it's parentheses within parentheses, then yeah, you're going to start from the inside out and work it left to right.
Okay.
Good. For sure. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, here we have the square root of 5 squared minus 3 squared. All right, so here you're going to work the inside the radical. So we see we have exponents inside the radical. So we're going to square both of those numbers. So the radical stays put, and 5 squared we know is 25, minus 3 squared, which we know is 9.
9.
You get 25 minus 9, which gives me the square root of 16. And what is the square root of 16?
4.
4. There you go. That's it. And remember how I said parentheses are a big thing? Because on number 2, we did negative 3 squared and we got a positive 9. But the big difference between that negative 3 and the one we just did is parentheses. So if you have negative 3 squared in parentheses, that's positive 9. If you have negative 3 squared, no parentheses, that's negative 9. Parentheses are everything, guys. So just watch out for that. Okay, cool.
And you said earlier, if the answer is a mixed number, we don't have to convert it to no. If the answer is
it's
an
improper,
fraction, we don't have to convert it to a mixed number.
You don't have to unless some directions say it. But yeah, other than that, you don't have to. Okay. Number 4, you have the absolute value of 4 minus 8 minus 9 times 2 minus 3. So once again, order of operations, parentheses first. The absolute value is considered in the group of parentheses. So we will work the absolute value and we will work this parentheses at the same time.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
So about how you're grading it, if we get some of the steps right, but we get the answer, like the answer wrong, do we get credit for the steps or does the very last answer have to be correct?
I give partial credit for work that makes sense.
Okay, cool.
So cool. All right. So 4 minus 8 gives me negative 4. And then you have that 9 still times 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. Oh, that just looks like a big old mess. Okay. Well, the absolute value turns any negative number into what kind of number?
Into a positive.
Into a positive number. So the absolute value of negative 4 will become positive 4 minus 9 times that negative 1. And then we have that multiplication as well. And negative 9 times negative 1 becomes positive 9, and you get 4 plus 9, and that will give me 13. Good stuff. Yeah. So the absolute value is a function all about distance. So the absolute value will turn any negative number into a positive number, because if you talk about distance, distance can never be negative. So you can't say I ran negative 5 miles today. The only place where distance is negative is football, and we allow that.
Professor, I'm sorry. Can you walk me back to that negative 9 parentheses negative 1? Did you times it and then it becomes a positive?
Exactly. So this negative 9 times negative 1. So remember, it's still multiplication. So negative times negative becomes positive. Good with that?
So the negative 4, you multiply by a negative 1. right?
So this
Or it should be
-4, no, we do not multiply by -4. So that again is what I was talking about, the absolute value function. So it's called the absolute value function. And it's
X. Okay.
disconnected for a second. Okay, so it's the absolute value of X, and it takes the absolute value of any number. And what the absolute value does is makes any number into a positive number. So if I said the absolute value of -10, I would get +10. If I said the absolute value of 5, I would still get 5.
So it's
So
just
that's
the sign.
is it. That's it. That's all it is.
It has to be a positive.
The
You disconnected again.
Got disconnected.
all right. All good with that?
I didn't hear. You got disconnected. I didn't hear what you
Oh,
said.
yeah, my headset's going in and out. It's being weird. Yes, so remember that the output of an absolute value will always be positive.
Positive. Okay.
Okay, don't be weird, headset. You're doing great all day today. Okay, cool. Number 5. We have 7 cubed plus 2 times 4 over 17 minus 3. So whenever we're given a fraction of this sort, you will work the numerator and denominator separately using the order of operations. And then the final thing you will do is division at the very end, if need to. Okay, so with that being said, does anybody know what 7 cubed is?
Mm,
21.
343.
343, because remember 7 cubed means 7 times 7 times 7. So you get, oops, you get 343, and we can go ahead and multiply the 2 and the 4, and we get 343 plus 8. And then down in the denominator, we can do that 17 minus 3, which will give me 14. Okay. And then 343 plus 8 gives me what? 351 over 14. And I don't think they have anything in common. So remember, 14 is just 7 and 2. And 351 is not divisible by any of those numbers. It's not divisible by 7, and it's not divisible by 2. So lucky us, this is our final answer for that one. All right, cool. Over, get some space, stop it, computer. Okay, cool. All right, next one. 1 plus 2/5 plus 1/3 over 2 cubed. Oh man. So what we're gonna do with this is handle all of this fraction first. There's fractions in a fraction. Good times. Okay. So let's go ahead and add these two fractions together. And in order to do that, we're going to need the common denominator between 5 and 3. What is that common denominator?
15.
15. So that means we're going to multiply 2/5 by 3. And 1/3 by 5 over 5. And that's going to give us, this 1 still stays out front, plus, and if I multiply the first one by 3 over 3, we get 6 over 15 plus 1/3 times 5, 5 over 15.
5 over 15.
Good. And then down below, we can then handle the exponent. 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. What does that give me?
8.
Good. Perfect. Now we will add these two fractions. 6/15 plus 5/15 gives me
Say that again.
I said 6/15 plus 5/15 should give me 11/15, right?
Correct.
All right.
I said
Good.
that.
All right. So
But
now
you
we have to fix this. We can't leave it like that. So what we're going to have to do is change this 8 into a fraction. And remember, you can change any number into a fraction as long as you put it over 1. And now, when you have a fraction over a fraction, you will multiply by the what?
Reciprocal?
Reciprocal. Good. So this becomes 1 plus 11/15 times the reciprocal of 8 over 1, which is 1 over
1/8.
Good. Good. And now, still following order of operations, we're going to have to multiply these two fractions. And unlucky for us, there's nothing in common with 11 and 8 and 15 and 1. So we have to multiply these straight across. So you'll get 1 plus 11 over, what is 15 times 8?
20. 120.
120. Good. And now we're almost there because now we need to combine this 11 and that 120. So now we have to change 1 into a fraction by putting 1 over 1 and multiply by what's the common denominator here? What's 1 times 120?
120.
120.
120. There you go. So you multiply it by 120 over 120. And we end up with 120 over 120 plus 11 over 120. Now we can add those fractions together. And my goodness, it's over 131 over 120.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Good times on that one. Okay. Any questions on the last two we just did? 5 and 6. That one was definitely a process, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot of steps.
It is. It is. But take it slow, you know? Don't make
Just
any
be
mistakes.
nice. Don't put it on our exam. I'm just kidding.
that looks like a great exam problem.
I'm just kidding. Maybe it could be a bonus.
Oh, yeah. All of these would, anything with a fraction will be a bonus. Okay.
Okay,
All
I
right.
have one more question.
What's up?
So you said in the beginning of class they had like the answers or something was in the back of the textbook. What was it?
Yes. If you downloaded the packet or you have the printed packet, at the very end of the book of the packet, you can find the answers to the notes and even the homework questions.
Can you move the screen again? I want to see like the whole problem.
Yeah. I'll zoom out a bit. Let me do that. Boom and boom. How's that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I think I can still write here. Yeah, I should be able to. Okay. Number 7, you have -3 times 5 plus 1 squared. So again, you need to handle that inner parentheses. Okay. So we'll add those two up and we'll get -3 times 6 squared. And then we have to deal with the exponent. We have to do 6 squared,
36.
which will give me -3 times 36. And what is -3 times 36?
Negative 12.
Negative
3.
3 times 36.
Negative 108.
There you go.
Uh,
Negative 108. Okay, good. All right, we're going. Number 8, 48 divide 3 times 2 minus 4 squared plus 5. Oh, this is one of those Facebook fight problems right here. All right. All right. So we work it left to right. We look for parentheses. We don't see any parentheses. So then we move to the exponent next. So there we have to go with that 4 squared. So it's going to be 48 divide 3 times 2 minus 4 squared, which is 16. And then there's that 5. Okay. Now we've handled parentheses, we handled exponent. The next thing is what comes first, multiplication or division?
Either or.
Solve from left to right.
Multiplication.
Division. Division comes first, so we will divide first. What is 48 divided by 3?
16.
16. So now you have 16 times 2 minus 16 plus 5. So since division came first, we had to do division. And now we look at it left to right again, and we have 16 times 2. So we have to handle that multiplication. So 16 times 2,
32.
32. Minus 16 plus 5. And now you have 32 minus 16. So subtraction comes first. We will subtract. And 32 minus 16, you get 16 plus 5, and we get 21.
Do that again. You lost me after the 32 minus 16.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, since subtraction comes first, we subtract. So what is 32 minus 16?
Hang on.
Okay, I'm waiting.
I'm getting to it. I'm old.
You're good. You're good. We have time.
Okay, it is 16.
So
Yeah.
there's your 16. Good.
Okay.
And then there's that 5 that's left over.
Yeah, the 5. Okay. I'm trying to get the steps right because I don't
No, that's totally fine.
work.
Yeah. You're good. Okay, cool. PEMDAS, huh? What a life ruiner. All right. Okay. 9. Look at that one. 4 plus 3 times 2 plus parentheses 3 times negative 1 over negative 1 squared. Oof. All right. So, like I said, you'll handle the numerator and denominator separately, still following PEMDAS. So in the numerator, we'll handle the first parentheses and do that 3 times 2. So I don't even know if I have room for that one. Maybe. Let me see. Might shorten up. So that's going to be parentheses 4 plus 6 plus, and then we'll handle this parentheses 3 times negative 1, which gives me negative 3 over negative 1 squared, which will remain what number?
1.
Negative 1.
No.
Remember, in order for it to be positive 1, it needs to have what around it? Parentheses. Okay, so there's that. And then that becomes, let's see, I'll have to find, I'll just start here. There we go. You'll add the 4 and the 6. So that's next. And you'll have parentheses 10 plus negative 3 over negative 1. And then in the numerator, you're going to do 10 plus negative 3, which also can be written as 10 minus 3 over negative 1. And you'll end up with 7 over negative 1, but 7 divided by negative 1 becomes negative 7. There you go. All right, cool. All right, 10. It's like number 6, but there's going to be one less step. Number 10, you have 3/5 plus 1/3 over 2 cubed. So the first thing we want to do is add these two fractions together. And what is the common denominator between 5 and 3?
15.
15. So we multiply the first fraction by 3. We multiply the second fraction by 5. And in the numerator, you'll get 9 over 15 plus 5 over 15. And once again, what is 2 cubed?
8.
8. So you'll end up with 8. Okay. And now 9/15 plus 5/15, we can add these two fractions, and what will that give me?
14 over 15.
14 over 15 over 8. And now we have to do the same thing we did in number 6. You're going to put 8 over 1, make it into a fraction, and multiply by the what?
The opposite.
The reciprocal.
Reciprocal.
Reciprocal. There we go. We multiply it by 1.
It was at the
over
edge of
8.
my tongue.
You're good. You're good. All right. And now 14 over 15 times 1 over 8. Yes, we can multiply straight across, but we can check to cross cancel. What is the smallest number you can take from 14 and 8?
2.
2. Good. If I divided 2 from 14, we get 7. If I divided 2 from 8, we get 4. And I'm going to rewrite what we have. 7 over 15 times 1 over 4. Multiply straight across. 7 over 60. Wow. How we doing?
Good for now, but once it's over,
It's
it'll be a blank.
good. That's why you have me on. That's why you have me on record, right? All these lectures are
right.
recorded. There you go. All right. Oh man, look at number 11. Ooh wee. All right. 3 plus 2 times 4 plus negative 6 plus parentheses 1 plus negative 2 squared. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and work these inside the parentheses, and let's go ahead and work this one first inside that parentheses. So we're gonna get 3 plus 2, and 4 plus negative 6 is the same as 4 minus 6. Plus parentheses 1 plus that negative 2 squared. Is that going to become a positive 4 or a negative 4?
Negative 4.
Careful. What does it have around it?
Oh, the parentheses.
It's parentheses.
Okay, a positive 4.
Positive 4. There you go.
I said that all confident.
There you go. Hey, at least you said something. Okay. All right. And then we'll handle the parentheses again. So 3 plus 2, 4 minus 6 is negative 2. 1 plus 4 is 5. And all we have now is this multiplication. And we can finish this thing up. 2 times 2 becomes negative 4. So it becomes 3 minus 4 plus 5. What is 3 minus 4?
-1.
-1. -1 plus 5 gives me
4.
4. There you go. All right. Working. 12. 2 times 4 minus the absolute value of -5 minus 1 plus 4 squared. So we are first going to work the innermost parentheses, which is going to be this absolute value of -5. And we will also work this 1 plus 4 at the same time. So we'll get 2 times 4 minus, and what is the absolute value of -5?
It's 5.
5. So the absolute value of -5 is +5. But of course, there's that negative weighting outside, right? So that has to stay there. Minus 1 plus 4 gives me 5 squared. Okay, now we still work the parentheses. So we're going to do that 4 minus 5. You get 2 times 4 minus 5, which is -1, minus, and why not? Let's go ahead and do the exponent. 5 squared is 25. And I'm going to leave that in a parentheses just as good habit. And the reason I'm doing that again is because of that pesky negative weighting on the outside. Okay, now multiply that 2 times the -1, -2 minus 25, and you'll get
27.
There you go. All right, cool. Okay. Then number 13. 1/2 times 8 divided by 6. Which one comes first, multiplication or division?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So we're going to do 1/2 times 8, which will give me 4 divided by 6. And now we have 4 divided by 6. What do we do here?
Where did you get the 4 from again?
The 1/2 times the 8.
Oh.
No, good. 4 divided by 6. Well, I can do two things. I can multiply by the reciprocal, or I can rewrite it as a fraction. Which one do you want? Here, we can show both. So look.
Which is
4.
easiest?
They're both easy, right? So 4 divided by 6 can also be written as just 4/6. Or if we decided to go the reciprocal route, I would put 6/1 and multiply by the reciprocal, which would be 1/6. And guess what 4 times 1/6 is? 4/6. So I'm going to say the first one was easier, right?
I'm good.
And can you reduce 4/6?
Yes.
That becomes
2/3.
2/3. Good. All right, cool. 14. 2/5 plus 4/3 divided by 2. Which operation do we have to handle first?
Division.
Division. And now for this one, you're going to want to change 2 into a fraction. You're going to want to put 2/1 and multiply by the what?
Reciprocal.
Reciprocal. So this is going to become 4/3 times 1/2. That's 4/3 divided by 2. Okay, so we have made 2 into a fraction. We made it as 2 over 1. We multiply or flip by the reciprocal. And now we can multiply straight across, or do you see something that you can cross cancel?
2 and 4.
2 and the 4, right? So take a 2 out, that's 2. Take a 2 out, that's 1. What we are left with is still that 2/5 plus 2/3 times 1 over 1. Oh my goodness. What's 2/3 times 1 over 1?
1.
2/3 times 1 over 1.
2/3.
2/3. Oh, good. Okay, so now you have 2/5 times 2/3, and we need to add these fractions together, but in order to do so, we need that common denominator, which is going to be what number?
15.
15. Multiply this by 3 over 3, multiply that by 5 over 5, and we end up with 6 over 15 plus 10 over 15. Hey, look at that. And we get 16/15. Okay, cool. All right, 15. 1/2 squared plus 1/5. All right, we have to handle the exponent first. So what is 1/2 squared?
One.
Close, but remember that 1/2 squared means 1/2 times 1/2.
That equals a whole.
If they were adding, yes. But when you're multiplying, that equals a what?
1 over 4.
1 over 4. So 1/2 squared is actually 1/4. Yes, you're right. If you did 1/2 plus 1/2, 50 cents plus 50 cents does give you that dollar. But we weren't adding, we were multiplying. Okay, well, now we need to add these two fractions. And what is the common denominator between 4 and 5?
20.
20. So we'll multiply the first fraction by 5 over 5. We'll multiply the second fraction by 4 over 4. And we'll get 5 over 20 plus 4 over 20. And now we get our final answer of 9 over 20. And that is enough torture for today.
Thank God.